Hi, you're listening to It Happened to Me, a rare disease and medical challenges podcast. The mission of our podcast is to support you, our listeners, and to create community as you confront the toughest challenges in life. All of us will experience health hardships. The real question is how we adapt. That's the focus of It Happened to Me, which wants to help you overcome limitations and live a full and satisfying life. Drawing on their own health challenges, co-hosts Cathy Gildenhorn and Beth Glassman interview guests who share stories and research to help you succeed in the face of difficult health obstacles. It happened to me. I'm not alone, and neither are you.
Joining us on It Happened to Me today is Alex Brito. Alex is an inspirational advocate in the rare disease community. She is one of the first 100 individuals diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, or NMOSD. This rare neurological disease, affecting an estimated 6,000 Americans, is characterized by severe, unpredictable relapses that can cause vision loss, chronic pain, and paralysis. Despite the challenges that Alex has faced in her journey, including misdiagnosis, vision loss, and temporary paralysis, Alex remains a beacon of resilience. She refers to NMOSD as her bestie and is passionately committed to empowering those with disabilities and teaching adaptive technology to individuals with vision loss.
Alex also maintains an active lifestyle as a powerlifter and is the first blind woman to earn a yellow belt in Krav Maga. Krav Maga is a self-defense system created by the Israeli military forces. Recently, Alex's story was featured in Alexion's new short film, Rare Connections in NMOSD. Welcome to the program, Alex.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Alex. So let's start at the beginning. What is NMOSD, and is it an autoimmune disease?
Okay, so NMOSD is a disease in the central nervous system that can affect both your optic nerves and spinal cord. It can cause vision loss or paralysis. And to answer your question, yes, it is an autoimmune disease.
So, Alex, how prevalent is this in the population?
So it's estimated that adults diagnosed with NMOSD in the United States, it's about 6,000.
So this is very rare.
Yes.
Alex, what are some of the challenges in diagnosing NMOSD? How was your diagnostic journey?
So with NMOSD and it being so rare, getting diagnosed for me was a journey in itself because of a misdiagnosis. I was initially diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the age of 12. But with today's advancements, I mean, there are more tests that can be done to diagnose in patients with NMOSD, but again, it's still very common to receive a misdiagnosis with this disease because of how
it presents itself?
Yes, how it presents. Thank you.
And what were your initial experiences with NMOSD and its symptoms?
Okay, so again, my journey began when I was 12. So my initial symptoms, was I woke up with 1 week I had eye pain and I felt like something was in my eye. For the whole week, my mom said nothing was there. Then December 5th of 97, I remember that day perfectly. I went to the movies and for some reason I closed my left eye and could not see anything out of my right eye.
Wow.
So I went, had mom pick me up. We went to go see a doctor, and I was told I had optic neuritis, an inflammation in my optic nerve, given some medication, and hopefully it would clear up. That was that for my initial symptom. But 3 months later, again, as I mentioned, I was 12 years old, very active. So I was involved in a lot of sports at the time. I was at softball practice, and I just remember this amazing play I did. I was a catcher and feeling pain in my neck and tremors down my arms after that play, and it did not clear up. Again, I thought it was a neck, maybe I pulled my muscle, but no. Saw my doctor. He wasn't sure what was going on, sent over to a neurologist, and that's where I did my spinal tap and MRI, which showed the inflammation of my spinal cord and a lesion in my brain. So there I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I remember being told that, and like, okay. But what got me was, you're going to go blind. Okay. But that was it. I started my treatments with MS, and, every 3 months it continued for me with a relapse attack on my body. So that varied. Again, with NMOSD, it affects us differently, but the same. So for me, an attack could be more vision loss on my left eye. And so that, I lost the ability to use my arms at one point. And again, this was every 3 months, vision loss, the loss of use of my arms. It affected my legs. Just little by little, it was taking from me. And sometimes I would get better, but the vision is one thing that would not get better through this journey.
Well, how long were you mistakenly treated for MS? And when did they finally realize they needed to delve further and find more correct diagnosis for you?
Oh, yes. So by 2003, I was completely blind and paraplegic. So I had no sensation from my chest down, bedridden. And at this point, my neurologist said, I don't know what else to do.
So sorry.
Thank you. He didn't know what to do, but he had come across an article from a doctor up north who was doing this new study with NMO, and referred me over to him. And so 2004, I went up to see my doctor up north, and he talked about this disease. I seemed to check off all the boxes of, the symptoms with NMO. I also did some blood work that confirmed I carried a rare protein. So that's where I was able to get my confirmed diagnosis, was March of 2004 with NMO. And so I was put in a study and started a new treatment, and I was walking within the year.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
So the new diagnosis, the correct diagnosis, was really liberating for you. It gave you back some quality of life.
Yeah, because it was like that. Okay, so I don't have MS. I have this. I have a medicine now that's working for me. And there was movement. I just remember, Mom, look, I can move my legs. Everyone come. And they laughed because it was just a toe wiggle, but I was moving my leg.
And what about the vision? Wonderful. Was any of the vision restored?
No, the vision has never come back. No.
Okay. No. Gotcha.
So we're talking about paralysis and vision loss. These are both big deals. So can you describe how you dealt with those? with each of the laws?
They're really hard.
You make it sound very matter of fact, but it isn't.
No.
I mean, you're a brave person, but each of us has faced challenges, but you've had your share. How do you do it?
Yes.
How'd you do it?
So I have, and I could say, a very, very supportive family that's always never treated me any different. Always, had me stay strong. And if they cried, they didn't cry in front of me. But it was really hard. Here I am, 12 years old, active softball
little
player,
girl.
breakdancing, involved with my friends. And
of course,
I always tell my mom, softball's going to be my ticket to college. And then I'm going to go to the Navy and having that all taken from me, being able to go breakdance was hard. My friends, not being able to go out was really hard, as again, being 12 years old and losing the ability to use your body was hard. But
I'm
just
sure
having
very challenging.
The strength of my family really helped me move forward. And just
so how lucky you are to have your family with you. But there's obviously something within you that is keeping you going. So you refer to NMOSD as your bestie. What do you mean by that?
So with NMO, bestie, we have our good moments, we have our bad moments, but she's here to stay. And I've had to accept that. It's me and her till the end. She's my ride or die chick, and it's either
wow.
What an attitude you have. Wow.
We're gonna have our fallouts, but it's okay. And learning to accept that has been really a relief for me on my end, because again, having that growing up, staying strong, don't cry. I held that for a long time, not giving in. Well, I haven't given in to her, but it's like, okay, we're going to work together now, so that we can have a good functioning day or moment, even, because there's some days where it's just an hour out of the day is all I can do.
Right. But using your energy positively rather than fighting your new reality must be so liberating, as Beth was saying earlier, that it must give you just more energy to focus on what can be done rather than fighting against what can't.
Yes. And so it was that the moment I started walking, I think that's when we became best friends. It's like, all right, we're just going to keep walking forward and not look back. And so it allowed me to go to school, move out, get my first guide dog, and just be involved with, myself, and just keep pushing forward.
Wow. Congratulations.
What an inspirational
to you.
message this is. This is very inspiring.
And can you tell us about your commitment to empowering individuals with disabilities and how you go about it?
So I am right now that never give up mentality. So when I just hang out with friends that I meet out in the community, it's just staying positive, being a listening ear, and just, support. For myself, I love technology. So being able to get out there and just teach individuals how to use the technology and find independence is such a great feeling to have, just to be able to give back to the community the best way I know how.
Oh, that's
wonderful.
Great.
But then how do you teach adaptive technology to those with vision loss? And why is this so important to you?
It's very important to me because when I started, losing my vision, I was gifted a computer, and it had a screen reading program called JAWS. And it's advanced from what it was to now, but it just read what was on the screen to me. And not being able to see, of course, was hard enough, but not being able to get on the computer was even more saddening for me. So when I had that piece of technology to allow me to navigate the computer freely and do what I want to do, was a great experience. So being able to learn that now, I'm currently in a program as a student instructor for assistive technology at World Services for the Blind. And so I'm able to now teach those who are blind, newly blind, low vision, or are going through the journey of knowing they're going to become blind, whether it be through a screen reader, a magnification program, braille display, any adaptive technology that I know is out there that's just going to give them that little bit of freedom, independence, is such an amazing feeling.
And such an amazing thing to do, and pat yourself on the back, because it is, wonderful. I'm sure, so incredibly appreciated by your students.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's the real idea of paying it forward, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Well, thank you for what you're doing. I mean, because you're giving everyone the ability to be free, to be part of our community. It's a very special gift that you are giving.
Thank you.
So I have to tell you, Alex, I've never met a power lifter or a weightlifter. I've never met anyone who has done this, let alone someone with a yellow belt. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this? And I don't know where yellow belt fits in the scheme of belts. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, educate me about this world that I know nothing about. I'm just intrigued.
And yellow belt.
Yes. So in both of these worlds, it's very interesting to me.
Okay. So actually I started doing, I guess focusing on my fitness was in 2015. There was a women's self-defense 6-week program I signed up for, and it said functional fitness and Krav Maga self-defense. So, okay, well, I reached out to Eric, the instructor, and, hey, I'm so-and-so and interested in this program, but here's the thing. And I told him what was going on with me. He goes, so what's the problem? Yeah. So he said, come on, we're gonna work with you. And I was put in the regular class. I wasn't treated again any different. And just
you are gutsy.
trained.
You're a gutsy lady.
With Krav Maga, I actually received my belt in 8 months. I went to train twice a day, every day for 8 months, and then did the 4.5-hour exam of combative strikes. It was just nonstop combative strikes, chokeholds, just different scenarios. Krav Maga is the first belt, but I think I could not move for 2 weeks after that. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yes,
I can only imagine.
They did, and just to have that even was so empowering, to know active shooter scenarios. That's scary. What do I do? Okay, guys, everyone, Eric would say, close your eyes. Let's do the Alex. Now what? How are we going to get out of this?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And
is.
And so that was just really empowering, because I know, now I know, okay, that's tactics and how to protect myself. And then there was an instructor there, Stephanie, who did a little side group of powerlifting, because she was getting to powerlifting herself. And she started a little group where we're called the Babes and Barbells.
Cute.
It was just being able to stand there and really reflect on where I was at one point in my life to where I'm at now, picking up 200 pounds or flipping a 200, 300-pound tire. Again, just so empowering to do that. Yeah. And so that's where I grew the love of being able to powerlift and do Krav Maga.
That's wonderful.
So this right now, again, it set you free. So just like the technology and now the physical training has given you freedom.
And like right now,
Isn't that
me and
remarkable?
Bestie are just having some issues, so I'm taking some time off of lifting
I
weights.
see.
So it's like, all right, I hear you. Okay, so but they're here, and it's just, I
Well,
have
it's
my
wonderful.
bells.
You have these skills and these abilities, but you also have the ability to listen to your body. And when it needs, to take a break, so you respect that. I think that's wonderful.
So staying active sounds like it's very important to maintaining your lifestyle with your bestie. Would you say?
Yes. And it's, again, whether it's just getting out of bed, that's being active for me. That's enough activity in a day. And that's a big milestone. Because again, with NMOSD, it can affect us all differently. And I have great days, I have horrible days, but it's really just being mindful of what my body's telling me.
And respecting that.
Yeah.
Wow. And can you tell us about Alexion's short film, Rare Connections in NMOSD, and how you got involved?
Oh, yes. So I was actually recommended by a good friend of mine, Corey, through the Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation. We had met, and she had just come across that project being done and asked if I could be recommended as a possible participant for the film. I said, sure, why not? I wasn't sure what I was, but sure, let's see what this is about. And so once I got introduced with the people at Alexion, and they shared with me what the project was about, I thought it was just such an amazing idea they had, being able to share my story, by writing this letter, not only to myself, but, the day of, they threw that twist and said, someone else is going to read your story, your letter. And so I was like, that was amazing. I thought that was great, because from what I understood, it was, we were going to read our own letters. But that day, someone else read my letter, and just being able to share that and listen to everyone else's letters and hear how similar but different our journeys are.
How
was really
important.
Great.
Yeah. And do you think this has helped raise awareness about NMOSD?
I do. I really do. I feel just being able to share the story out there is amazing, because again, it portrays us as just normal individuals. And I say that with quotes, that are going through this journey. We're not alone. We found each other. No one's story is better than, someone else's.
And it's all about being a community, being together. Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful.
And where can our listeners find this film and see it?
So they can find the Rare Connections in NMOSD film on YouTube. You would type in, of course, Rare Connections. And there's 2 versions now. So we have our regular short film that you can watch. But now there's an accessible version for people who have low vision or are blind.
That's great.
The audio describes. Great. So that's really a great feature wonderful. They've provided for us. Yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So is there a support group for NMOSD?
So there are quite a bit of support groups out there that I found. Social media is a big thing out there. You can type in, NMO, and you'll get some group pages. Of course, we have the Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation that has, their Patient Advocacy Council, the Samara Foundation. So there are things out there, and the greatest resource we have, the greatest tool is the internet, and just being able to search, NMO support groups or, information, and you'll find those links that will get you out there or provide you links out there for some resources.
Well, it sounds like, Alex, you have really done a lot to help you get through this journey with your bestie. And along the way, you have been an advocate. You have the support of family. You're involved with physical exercise. All these things have helped you manage and leave a full and productive life. And I applaud you. I applaud you in your journey.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Would love to ask you before we sign off if you have some advice for our listeners.
The best advice I'm going to say, and I'm going to be honest here, is I didn't have an NMO community until 2020.
Oh.
I pretty much had this journey with my family and myself and, just regular friends and family out there. But now that I've connected with the resources that are out there, the social media groups, and just reading their stories, someone who may have a bad day, and I can relate to that and not say to myself, oh, I'm not lazy, this is NMO, has been such a freeing experience. It's so that's one thing I could say to the people that are newly diagnosed or just are wondering if they possibly may have it, is find your support, really advocate and educate yourself the best you can, and don't be afraid to ask those questions. No question is a wrong question.
Oh, Alex, that's wonderful.
Great advice.
You are such an inspiration. Thank you. And thank you, Alex, for providing such a comprehensive discussion of NMOSD. And thank you for sharing your personal journey, your advocacy work, and just really opening up and helping listeners find a liberating experience for themselves from listening to you and your experiences. And to our listeners, look for the link to the NMOSD short film in the show notes to this episode. This has just been extraordinary. Thank you, Alex, and such good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of It Happened to Me. We encourage you to learn more at ithappenedtomepod.com. Please use the contact form on our website to submit your guest suggestions, comments, questions, ideas, and feedback for the show. You can also email us directly at ithappenedtomepod@gmail.com. We would really appreciate it if you can leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app like Apple or Spotify. This helps others in the rare disease and medical challenge community find us. It Happened to Me is created and hosted by Cathy Gillenhorn and Beth Glassman. I'm Keir Deneen from DNA Today, and I serve as our executive producer and marketing lead. Amanda Andrioli is our associate producer. Ashlyn Anokian is our graphic designer. And remember, it happened to me. I'm not alone, and neither are you.